if you're gonna have Future ahead of someone that is egregious to put him in your top 50, and if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. Yeah. But Future's not ahead of Missy Elliott.
He's ahead of Lauryn Hill, though. Welcome back, people. This is Sound Bites, a part of the Album Mode podcast when we're talking about the music, the culture, the internet, and all those three things combine to make the music culture that we're a part of today. This is Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. Adriel Smiley Official, a.k.a. AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. The Godfather, a.k.a. Mr. Smiley. Mr. Smiley, Adriel, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. We're back on another episode of Sound Bites.
Yeah. Oh, and it's also King Grant. I forgot myself. Oh my God.
Yeah, come on, put your crown on, man. Who are you? Yeah, no, I'm happy to be back, man. Sound Bites is my favorite part of the podcast because we talk about the shit that's happening now. Because one of the things, Drake put out a poetry book that, said that an album is coming, and we don't know when this album is coming. Yeah. So because of Sound Bites, we talk about it right now instead of waiting to this album. The book is called Titles Ruin Everything. Love that title. Him and Kenza Samir have released that, and they took out a bunch of ads in a few newspapers.
Yeah, wraparounds, bro. When was the last time you seen one of those?
And you know what it brought me back to? That era when that was really a thing that people did, especially in movies. You want to show something being big that was like it's on every newspaper.
Right.
In his book, he did kind of say there's a QR code in the book. The QR code leads to a page, and he says, "I made an album to go with the book. They say they miss the old Drake, Girl Don't Tempt Me," and then in all caps, "For all the dogs." One more thing that someone highlighted. He had this dog logo that the barcode is on. Yeah. That's for all the dogs. He's actually worn that logo on a jacket recently. And so, I like that Drake is, he's far from a mysterious artist. Yeah. He's very, very popular, very, very well known.
He's in his Taylor Swift bag right now.
But dropping some gems. Yeah. Dropping some little stuff for us to catch and find. Now, of course, no one caught anything and found anything. But I like that Drake is getting back into that era of his career where little notes for us to catch.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. I think that's cool. Who else has dropped a little subliminal is Travis Scott. All of a sudden, we've seen the briefcase.
Yeah.
We've seen the briefcase everywhere. I feel like people are just carrying the briefcase, even though the briefcase is not believable because we live in the internet age where that shit is on a hard drive. That album is on a hard drive.
Is in the briefcase.
The hard drive is like this small, bro. It's like literally this small on a USB, or it's in the cloud.
You don't think the hard drive is in the briefcase? You think the briefcase is empty?
I don't think it's in the briefcase. I don't think.
You think the briefcase is empty?
I think yes.
That's so funny. No, I think there's something in the briefcase, and it's just like it's a USB and a hard drive. I think he has backups, of course. Let's not get it twisted. But I do think that he's coming into the studio, dapping everyone up while the security guard goes.
No, I don't think so. I think it's cool. You know what? There's probably dummy stuff inside of it. Like if somebody they had the briefcase, and if somebody stole it and they try to open it, there's probably like a dummy USB or a dummy hard drive in it. And you try to plug it in, and there's like nothing on it.
Interesting,
right? So that's what I think is. You
know what I think is interesting? I think the things that we believe and don't believe. Like when we did the Tyler thing, and it was like, are the leaks real or are they not? Yeah. Who do you believe something in the briefcase or do you not? Look at things we choose to believe or not believe.
And also, there's these billboards that are popping up around LA that's like a bike lock, right?
That one's cool
with the numbers on it, and the numbers that are prominent are like 7. I think it's 7/22 or 11 or something like that.
7/21.
7/21, right? And that would be July 21st. This is a Friday, which would be cool. It would be pretty nice for Utopia to land inside of our hands and be part of our world because remember we talked about it earlier where Astroworld came out in 2018, bro. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since Travis Scott's dropped like a full Travis Scott project. So that's also on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm excited for Utopia. It's been he's kind of doing the Drake thing as well, where he's dropping little notes, little hints. Yeah. Not directly telling you it's coming, but when we're going to have to figure it out for ourselves.
One thing about the Drake thing, I feel like Drake is getting more into being like a style person, like a style icon.
Okay.
Right? And I feel like he's trying to because remember when he had that picture of him in the TTC jacket?
Yeah.
right? And then there's like, been like the necklaces he's been wearing, his hair, he braids his hair in a bunch of different ways now. He has like these like oversized outfits and stuff. So I feel like he's kind of trying to leverage it a little bit with the for the dog's jacket, right? Where it'd be like, oh, maybe we can get this off and maybe maybe people will buy it. Or it'll get more people to pay attention to his fashion. I do think he wants to become more of a fashionista, right? So I think that the jacket for the dogs and all this other stuff are happening. I think that he's trying to like help push that.
I do think he is trying. I think, I don't know if Drake will ever be that guy. I think he dressed so bad to start his career that he may just never be that guy.
At the beginning, though, I think it's better lately. It's better lately.
Obviously, it couldn't get much worse. So it is much better than it was before. But I don't know if he'll ever be that guy that people look to. I will say this: the OVO stuff that he has going on, they've been hitting a lot. They have a lot of good collabs. The stuff with Playboy was really good. Yeah, a lot of people wear OVO, but OVO is also one of those things that there's a group of people that just will not wear OVO, and they think that it's only for women who sleep with Drake. And then there's just people who will spend
thousands,
$150 on an OVO hat.
Yeah.
So I think that he has some kind of fashion sense in that way, where it's like people do want to wear his brand. Yeah. But you're right, he's much better. But I don't know if he'll ever be that guy. I do kind of want that for him. Yeah. But here's the thing about Drake, and again, I've never met him, know nothing about him personally. He doesn't give me the trendsetter energy. He gives me the energy of he's following the right TikTokers.
Right, yeah.
And they told him where to get it, you know? Or he has a friend that got it and he kind of got put on. So for that reason, I don't know if he'll ever be that. But listen, him like Travis, dropping those little hints. Yeah. Travis, I think, fashion-wise,
is
to the
different
moon.
World.
To the moon. Listen,
speaking of fashionistas.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Lil Uzi Vert is next week. It is next week. It is happening next week. Pink Tape. It's coming out. There's the album cover. I think I've seen 3 different album covers.
Yeah. The cover I'm not buying. The cover I'm not buying.
I've seen the one where it's like a bunch of cartoon characters like in space. I've seen the one where he's like, Uzi is facing away from the camera. He's looking at this like pyramid with like an eye inside of it. And it's like all pink and he's wearing an American flag cape. And then I've also seen him standing in front of the American flag, but it's like all pink, black and white.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Which is supposed to be, I think, the actual cover, but who knows?
Uzi is not at Kanye level where I don't believe in the album's coming out.
The album is coming out.
But I don't believe the album cover. Uzi has multiple album covers be released every album cycle. This is like the 4th time he's had so many albums be released.
Also on the deluxes, there's also a different
different album than Eternal Take. I do think though that if I had to guess, the American flag will be the one. Uzi gives me Republican vibes. So
he does.
he does, doesn't he?
I don't wait, first of all, isn't Uzi's a they them? Is he not is Uzi not a they them? I believe that he's
they retracted that.
Okay, well.
Yeah, well,
we'll see. We're going to see.
We're going to find out. The movie that Uzi dropped, the Pink Tape movie, the little trailer.
That's sick too.
I thought that was pretty cool. I like the anime vibes. I think that there is such a crossover with hip hop and anime that takes the right person to really do it properly. Right. I do think that crossover just lives there. A lot of hip hop fans are huge anime. It's the same thing with Call of Duty chat rooms and NBA YoungBoy. There's just that crossover there. Yep. So I feel like this album, it looks like Uzi is gonna take it there with the visuals and actually make that crossover. And I think that is gonna have this probably be the #1 album, the first hip hop album to go #1 this year. Right. Thug may do it this week, so if Thug doesn't do it, I think it will be Uzi because, first of all, Uzi does crazy numbers. What would you guess Uzi does first week? I think he did like 170.
Yeah, it was something insane. Last time. Like 170, 150 in that 200-ish realm. I did Google it as we were talking about it. Uzi is a they them. I'm on it, bro. Uzi,
so they didn't retract it.
Yeah. Uzi, I think that comment that you made
he did 288 first week.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah, so incredible. So I think Uzi can go for like 150 pretty easily. We were talking about earlier, or first of all, I want to mention the anime thing. I do think like the 2010s young hip hop people were all over it. Ski Mask, XXXTentacion, Uzi, like that hybrid of anime and hip hop has actually always existed for a very long time. You can think of like something like Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think about even before them. Yeah,
like there's so many crossovers between that. So this is just the latest edition of that crossover. I do think Uzi is definitely has a strong hold on it because even Sanguine Paradise.
Oh yeah,
the cover art for that was like a anime cover. So definitely part of the repertoire. I do think it's gonna do something crazy like 150, 160, 170, something like that. Just because Uzi's fan base is low key but massive.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of the biggest albums of the year.
Yeah.
Without question. Which out of these three are you most excited for?
I think it's a Travis Scott album because it's been 5 years. And it's kind of like with Uzi when Eternal Atake came out. Yeah, when Eternal Atake came out, it was being teased for multiple years before it actually came out. And then it ended up being a double album because the deluxe was basically just a separate album. So there's that. Drake drops music every year. Drake is basically like the Call of Duty of music right now. Every year, new Drake album.
You're getting something.
Right? Little tweaks here and there. But it is getting better. I would say that is getting better though. Yeah. So there's that. So I think it's Travis Scott, Utopia. We don't even fully know what the album cover looks like. So there's still a ton of mystery surrounding it. But it's got to be Utopia. What about you?
I think the answer is obvious.
Yeah. We decided, we're like, oh, you know what we should bring today? I was like, I'm going to bring Astroworld. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to bring the other Travis Scott album that I got.
Yeah. I'm going to say this now before Utopia comes out. I'm sure we'll talk about it once we get more, visuals, music, whatever it is. I think Travis Scott is extremely underrated. I think that he was coming for that next spot in terms of like the big superstar rapper whose music everyone likes. And I think that Astroworld was literally that. He literally did the same tour twice. I can't think of how many artists have run their tour and said, let's go all the cities again. Right. And every city sold them out again. So I think Travis Scott, I think will likely sell the most out of all these three if I had to guess. But I think he's just been taking his time with his projects. But if you think about the effect it has whenever a project drops, the songs from it, the reverberations, Travis Scott is kind of ready to come back outside. I hope that the music matches the energy that I'm giving it because if he comes out with something that's worse than what we're used to, it's going to be very disappointing. I doubt it. Travis Scott, very seldom misses. Yeah. But I'm excited for that more than any of the other two. Let's talk about some old guys for a second because
I was about to, because you were talking about Travis Scott being underrated. I'm like, top 50? Is Travis Scott top 50?
He's in my top 50.
Okay. He's in my top 50 too. I think you would include him pretty easily in top 50.
He's in Adriel Smiley's top 50 for sure. I talk about top 50. Pusha T and Jim Jones
back
going
at
it. For anyone who's been living under a rock, hasn't seen this, the Louis V premiere, Pharrell's first fashion show as a director there in Paris, and they played it seemed like it was a clip song actually, Malice. Yep. And No Malice. No Malice and Push. And in that song, he had some shots at Jim Jones. And in his shots, he was kind of like alluding to Jim Jones coming at Push because he wanted a Drake feature. Yeah. Because it was around, Drake's Apollo show that Jim Jones did get at Push. So, Push had those bars. Internet did the internet. Jim Jones, of course, responded.
Why? I don't understand why he responded. I
like that he responded, and I think he had to respond the way he responded. Right. I didn't want another Instagram video of Jim Jones talking in his car. That was not the response I wanted to see. I wanted to see music. I wanted to hear lyrics. And here's the thing to me. I think that Jim Jones has improved so much as an artist and rapper over the past 5 years.
Has he?
For sure.
Are you listening to Jim Jones' music?
Well, I'm about to say it. I think that a lot of people, it seems like yourself, are unaware of Jim Jones' new music. And that's why I think it's more important for him to respond, because Jim Jones' new music, his last few mixtapes, albums, whatever, have been the best music of his career by a mile. Jim Jones as a rapper is much better than he ever was before.
Okay.
Most people are saying Jim Jones is probably the best rapper in Dipset right now from everyone's current music. So it seems like people like you are aware of this Jim Jones renaissance been going on. I still think Pusha T is gonna, make mincemeat out of him. Let's not get it twisted. But I do think Jim Jones is actually at the point in his career where he can't have this battle. I think if this was a Jim Jones from years ago in both of their primes, Jim Jones probably should have packed it up. Jim Jones now is equipped lyrically to have this battle. I still think it's not a good idea, but this is a time where he can step in the ring. And if you can step in the ring, I think you should. But I think that Pusha T has some stuff coming, because this to be fair, this is probably more direct than people have been ever gotten at Pusha. And that means that Pusha's going to come back just as direct.
Yeah, I think this overall situation is just so befuddling to me, just because Jim Jones, like, this all just originates from Jim Jones saying Pusha T is not top 50, right? And then Pusha T is taking offense to that. Then Jim Jones is taking offense to the offense. Like, first of all, I don't think Jim Jones is part of like rap music discussion right now. You said that he was even dropping new music. That's news to me.
Yeah, I'm aware.
That is news to me, right? So I think that, I guess it's good to bring Jim Jones back into the dialogue of hip hop music, but I don't think he's gonna win that rap battle. As down as I am on Pusha T's music, which I am quite frequently, I think that he is still one of the expert lyricists in the history of the genre. So I feel like challenging him, it's like, challenging him or challenging Jay-Z or challenging Eminem, like, you're gonna lose. Like, and it's gonna be pretty graphic in the way that you lose as well. I feel like Pusha T does a lot of, he flexes his ability, but pulls the punches in a lot of times when people attack him, right? I feel like he gives you a jab instead of an uppercut. But he's giving one of the stiffest jabs in the game. So you just, what? I'm gonna take that one and just walk
you're gonna
away.
feel it in your ribs for sure,
right? I don't want to, I feel like Jim Jones is not prepared for the uppercut. And he should probably call the song the uppercut. Actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Probably should. Here's what I think. I feel like Pusha T is not the one to mess with in any way, shape, or form. If you are rapping at all, be on Pusha T's side.
And also, there's no real reason to. He's not. He's part of the dialogue, obviously, because we're currently talking about him right now. But there's nothing that Pusha T is doing that is getting in the way of anybody else.
And when he came in originally, it was random. And I think a lot of people are not up on Jim Jones, so this him being involved in general feels random. But in actuality, nothing happened that Jim Jones had to mention Pusha T.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're either on separate, kind of spectrums in terms of hip hop, in terms of the kind of music they make.
Right.
But that was random that he even got at him in the first place. Now, by the time this comes out, Pusha T may have dropped a record. By the time you see this, he may have a song out. But I think this battle will ultimately end with Pusha T winning. My thing is, will Pusha T even respond? Because
he's gonna respond.
He may consider Jim Jones below him.
No, I think he's gonna respond.
But for all the people who are not up on Jim Jones, he's dropped some music lately. He has a Gangsta Grills in 2022, Fraud Department in 2021 with him and Harry Fraud, Capo in 2019 with him and Hitmaker. That was probably the beginning of him coming back outside, and then Back in My Prime this year. And he did a song We Set the Trends with the Migos. So if you want to get your Jim Jones fix, there is a bunch of new music for you to tap into. Again, some of his best music for sure, but in terms of the battle, I'm taking Pusha T.
Is Jim Jones top 50?
No.
Okay, so, and is Pusha T top 50?
Probably. Yeah, Pusha T top 50.
Right? So I'm just like, what is this? It's so over, of all the hip hop beefs that exist, something like
this one?
Gunna and Thug should be having this type of beef, right? Not these two literally 45-year-old men in the genre should not be talking about this.
Well, I'm not pro beef, but I actually understand both of their sides, even though Jim Jones came out of nowhere. Because from Jim Jones' criteria, Pusha T does not fit any of that.
Right.
Talking about being played in the street, being played in the club, people trying to be like him. Pusha T doesn't fit any of that.
Right.
So off of that criteria, I understand where Jones is coming from. I don't agree, but off of that criteria, I understand. Pusha T, on the other hand, I understand him being offended. 50 is a law of rappers. If I'm Pusha T as well as I rap, I'm going to feel like there are not 50 mans better than me. So I actually understand it from both sides. It makes some kind of sense.
Sure, I guess. Like, I guess people have feelings are hurt. You know, one of the things we always forget about hip hop overall and rap music, these are art people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, just think of like, I don't know if any other genre, like most other genres don't have this type of animosity between the artists. And if they do, it's not, there is no other way to express that animosity versus like having like a song on your album. Like there's no, I'm trying to think, Japanese breakfast diss track to Rina Sawayama. Like that doesn't exist. And it probably will never exist.
No, only in hip hop.
Right? Like it only kind of exists in hip hop, but I'm just like, it doesn't always need to exist. That's the thing. Like it doesn't need to. Like I feel this is unnecessary. No one cares, bro. Like this is the thing. Like people care enough to talk about it, but like,
you know what?
This is not part of the dialogue.
You're
like,
very right, but I think this is part of hip hop as a genre because I just cannot see, you know, George Strombolopoulos on his show having a talk about who's top 50 rock bands. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
I'm sure people have their opinions on that, but that's something in hip hop we talk about frequently.
Right.
Frequently. And I think that's such a hip hop thing of, you know, as life's happening, ranking everyone.
Yeah.
Where does everyone sit? We've talked about that a bunch of times on our pods.
Yeah.
You know, where does Drake rank? Where does this person rank? It's just a hip hop thing. So I think that even energy probably breeds the beef because it's imagine if Matchbox 20 and Maroon 5 were just going at it, just trading verses in the mid 2000s. That would be nuts.
It's Coldplay versus Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah. You know, like imagine. So it's like
the Killers versus AC/DC. They're like
young versus old beef. Like that would never happen. And the thing is, some of these people will have disagreements. They may not like each other, but it does not become what it is. Because that's even the reason why Jim Jones felt so comfortable to come out of nowhere and randomly get a Pusha T. No one asked him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a very interesting. Big shout out to rap. Big shout out to hip hop.
Yeah.
Celebrating 50 years this year.
I know.
With some
50
Jim Jones.
years and we're talking about top 50 again on the podcast.
Jim Jones, Pusha T, beef.
Let's do a little top 50 part 2. Okay, I'm going to give you some things here.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
I'm worried.
Missy Elliott, top 50.
For sure.
Yeah?
For sure. What?
Okay. So who do you think that most people would include top 50 that are not top 50?
That are not in my top 50?
Yeah.
Ooh, people include not on my top 50?
Remember when I said Future is top 50 without a doubt?
I don't think most people would include. I think people of a certain age who listen to trap music would include Future. I think someone who's of age to have heard at least 30 years of hip hop or 35 years of hip hop is not going to include Future.
So do you think Future is top 50?
No.
You don't think Future is top 50?
Here's somebody. Do you think Future should be ahead of Big Boy in this top 50 thing? Because I don't think so. There's nothing that has the case. But people don't have Big Boy top 50.
Okay.
So if Big Boy's not top 50, Future is not top 50.
I think Big Boy has he has a couple of like solo projects, doesn't he? The solo projects are okay. Outkast is definite. Outkast, the group is absolutely top 50. Absolutely. Absolutely.
No. I'm saying Big Boy solo projects can hang. Like,
right. So I think that he's ahead of Future. But Future is in it. Like I feel like Future's influence is just so immense for like.
Is Bow Wow top 50?
Who?
Bow Wow top 50?
I don't think so. I don't think
Bow Wow's influence is so immense.
What are you talking about? Future, at least, like when we're talking about Future, we're talking about like the 2010s. He's on the Mount Rushmore of the 2010s, right? Is the trap banger, right? Is Future, right?
You know who Future is like, and this comparison. I feel bad for saying this because it's disrespectful to who I'm going to compare him to. But Future is kind of like Kyrie Irving.
Oh my God! Wow.
Very influential. A lot of people love him. The things that he does, very skilled. But how many years has Kyrie Irving been a top 10 player in the NBA? Not that many.
Right.
That's kind of like a Future. But how much times has Kyrie Irving been a top selling jersey in the NBA?
Right.
That's Future. And so it's like that player might not, they shouldn't make the top 75 list of players, but definitely, maybe in the Hall of Fame, mention them in some tweets, show them some love. That's Future. Future is top selling jersey, but never making all NBA.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Never.
Not never. Out of 12 seasons, maybe twice.
I think Future, okay, my thing for the top 50 with Future, right, is basically immense influence, right? Then he's a hit maker. Future is a hit maker. Future is a hit maker, bro.
How much are we valuing hits in the top 50? Is Nelly top 50?
Possibly. Possibly. You want
to include everybody.
I know. I just think that basically top 50 is, we're talking about Hall of Fame, basically.
Is Ja Rule top 50?
Yeah, he's got to be.
Okay.
No, okay, but seriously,
your 50 is gonna be 80 names.
I think maybe one of these days we will do a full top 50. But I just think that Future's impact, right? The fact that so much music sounds like his now. We're talking about Gunna, Baby.
Very influential.
Right? Super influential. Hitmaker. The collab albums with Drake. Right? Like, what else do you want? Like, I know Future is not a lyricist, right? And we're talking about hip hop. We're always going to value lyricism, lyrics, and stuff like that. But the trap banger, Future, if you were ever going to be like, I need to make a trap banger that's going to bang in the club, bang in the car, I want Future on the song. And trap is the predominant form of hip hop for the past 10 years now.
I don't think that takes away from Future's influence not having a top 50.
Yeah.
There are some phenomenal rappers who have come across hip hop. It's like this. Busta Rhymes has to be top 50.
Right.
There's no way around that. Whereas Busta Rhymes is he in your top 30? Like, where does he rank in that? Someone like Busta Rhymes is probably not going to be as high on a lot of people's 50. But Busta Rhymes has to be ahead of Future.
Right.
So when you think about someone like Busta Rhymes, who's not going to be high in the 50, there's not that many spots for someone like Future. He's still amazing in what he does, but I think that there may not be as many spots for someone like him, because maybe what we're trying to do is do a younger top 50 from the eyes of someone from. No, I'm being real, because again, we're not going to include KRS. We're not going to include Guru. We're not going to include Fife. There's a bunch of people who we should include, and I don't think we can include Future and include all these guys, because some of the guys I named might not make it if we're including 50 names.
Right.
So that's my thing. And one more. I know this is your guy. You want to include him so badly. Joe Budden.
Joe Budden is not top 50. Bro. I cannot believe you brought back Joe Budden.
I know that's your guy. But I think Future is top 10 influential without question.
Right.
Like, influential, he's probably at the end of that top 10, but he's definitely top 10 influential. But in terms of top 50, I can't.
I don't know. I think the influence is so profound that you have to include him. I think that's the thing. I think that's the difference between me and you.
I think it's recency bias, because I think that the leaders of the past 10 years are not the Future disciples.
Right.
There's more probably Thug disciples who are leaders than Future disciples. Future disciples are all struggling to make, it's a dominant sound for sure.
Yeah.
But the best music isn't coming out of Future disciples.
Right.
And I think that's the difference in how I'm looking at it that you're looking at. It's kind of like academics thing. It's great that you have all these followers, but if the artists you're interviewing all make horrible music, where does that get me? So that's my thing, is I think his influence hasn't developed into as many big stars, as many, big hits, big music.
Right.
I think that the main one he has that I think will hold on for a long time, I mentioned him earlier, Lil Uzi.
Yep.
Someone like Lil Uzi has called Future like his kind of father in this game. He follows a lot of stuff Future does. Someone like Uzi, is Uzi top 50? That's a good
question. That's a good question.
Yeah. But my guess with that, neither of them are probably top 50.
Okay, well.
And I think that's the thing, is someone like, Lil Wayne, whose influence is including people like Drake and Nicki
and Young Thug
and Young Thug, and you can go on and on.
Yeah.
That tree of people holds more weight than, that's all I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm going to say on the record, I think Future is top 50, but I don't think he's like 25. I think he's like 46. I'm
going to tell you right now, you're going to have Future ahead of someone that is egregious to put him in your top 50. And if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. Yeah. But Future's not ahead of Missy Elliott.
He's ahead of Lauryn Hill, though. Lauryn Hill.
You know what? Lauryn Hill doesn't have the music, so that's fair. I think
most people would say Lauryn Hill definitely top 50, even though she has one solo project.
But listen, if we're going skill-wise and quality of music, Lauryn Hill has 10 songs better than any Future song. That's not even questionable. So
10 better than Commas? Oh my God.
Commas is not even a good song.
Let's just end this right now.
Commas is the song you're naming of all Future songs?
Commas, Mask Off, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. You're like a resident old head.
No, I think you would agree with me. I think you're naming the worst Future songs. I think you're naming the bad Future songs, if you would agree with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you're naming the bad Future songs as the ones you like.
You know what?
That's why we're here. This is why.
You know what? We're going to end it here, and we're going to make sure, anybody who's watching this video, please comment whether or not Future is top 50.
And tell us how you feel about Commas. Where does Commas rank Future discography? Commas not even top 50 Future song.
That's insanity. That's
a fact.
No, it's not. No.
Commas not even top 50 Future song. So, that's how you know we're on different pages.
So I'll just say, thank you everybody for listening to Album Mode and Sound Bites today. A little bit more contentious than it typically is.
Kind of the first take.
Right? But I'll say Future is top 50. Shout out to everybody that's following to us on TikTok at Album Mode, Instagram at Album Mode, and then on YouTube, the YouTubes at Album Mode Pod. Thank you. We're at 1,000 subscribers. We've ticked over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for everybody that is watching, listening, following, anything. Right? We're trying to do it big. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're only on step 1. Right? Mm-hmm. We're not even like a quarter into doing YouTube.
No. Yeah. We're brand new.
Yeah. So. We're at the very beginning. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing to the podcast. And everybody that's watching this. And Adriel, make sure you know yourself and know your worth.
Later days.
I'm...
You're wildin'.
What?
You're wildin'.
Me?